So this would be considered a sidebar. Even though it is a full page in your textbook, it is giving extra information about the Gila Monster, and it's kind of a little bit off of the topic of what they're doing here, looking for them and studying them. This is just to give you information about why they could be dangerous. Gila monsters look ready for a fight. Their skin is covered in round bumps filled with bone called osteoderms. This studded skin covers their head, tail, and body like an armor. Okay, all right. So you guys understand what that's like when you're thinking of like your skins and things you get in your video games. All right. Long, powerful claws for digging and strong, powerful, clamping jaws are their weapons, and so is their venom. Ooh, those do look sharp. They have venom glands in their lower jaw. So, like, right, most people have glands and they're all over their body, and sometimes when you go to the doctor, they feel underneath you. And they're like little circly things that are filled with some kind of fluid. So we have things like saliva glands that give us our spit. So they have a venom gland in their lower jaw, explains Brian Park, a Gila monster researcher. Unlike a rattlesnake, a Gila monster can't inject venom. The venom simply mixes into its saliva or spit when they are threatened. When they bite you, they latch on. So they just like go like, and they won't let go. And all that venom trickles into you. Sharp grooved teeth help deliver it, as does a chewing on the victim for a good long time. A Gila monster bite is intensely fatal, or painful, but not fatal to humans, meaning it won't kill us. There's no anti-venom treatment, so no medicine to make it better. And the bite can make a person sick for weeks. Medical scientists are interested in the venom that Gila monsters make. They've copied unique chemicals found in the lizard's saliva, which remember is spit, and are testing them on possible drugs for diabetes, attention deficit disorder, and memory loss. Ooh, that's weird. While Gila monsters look tough, they are not aggressive and do not go after people. If you see one, it's likely to be shuffling away from you. If you don't ever stick a finger in front of one or pick it up, you should never have a problem, says Brian. Most bites happen when harassing or bothering, annoying a Gila monster. If pain and suffering aren't reason enough for you to steer clear of Gila monsters, how about the law? Okay, so there are protected species. Harassing, handling, which means holding them, collecting them, or killing them is illegal. Now, that would not go with what the scientists are doing. Gila monsters were the first protected reptile in Arizona, and in 1952 became the first protected venomous animal in the United States. That right there made me think of the reading we did about the dolphins and seabirds and how they had to make some laws to protect them from being killed with the tuna fishing. That was my connection. All right, so let's read about female number 291. The Gila monster that Brian Park has tracked down is providing some clues. Gila Monster 291 has a radio inside her, and we're not talking music, guys. We're talking like a little computer radio. Kevin's team has implanted tiny transmitters inside 8 different Gilas. Now that Brian's telemetry receiver has found 291 under the big granite rock, Brian and his helpers get to work. So it's kind of like when they microchip a dog and they put that little thing inside of the dog. So that way, if your dog ever gets lost, somebody can take it to a vet and they'll do like a scan and they'll know who who the dog is, it'll come up on the computer. It's this exact same thing, except that the thing inside is giving off a signal. And so when they get closer, it beeps louder and more frequently. So kind of like if you've ever seen those videos of someone like looking for metal on a beach with a metal detector, it's kind of the same thing. Okay, paragraph 8. As she snoozes undisturbed in her burrow, they write down the lizard's GPS position. Note the time of day, take air temperature and humidity measurements, and list the kinds of plants growing around her rock. That is exactly what they did in the dolphin and sea mammal or seabird story. All of this information will help scientists figure out how much Gila monsters travel, about, and why. The study is finding that how much a Gila monster gets around depends on its age, its sex, which means male or female, habitat, and the season. During the spring and early summer, for example, when males are out looking for mates, they will wander more than the females generally. Female number 291 may be on the move too. She was down the hill in the picnic area near the road just 2 weeks ago, says Brian. It is 291 looking for a place to spend the winter. Okay, so here's like the transmitter. This is it. It says radio transmitters like this one that scientists surgically implant into the Gila monsters are about the size of an AA battery. A radio collar wouldn't work because it would get into the Gila monster's way as it's squeezed under rocks or into holes. So like my dog has a collar around its neck. It's for bugs. But they're saying like sometimes you could put a collar around the animal's neck and it will help bind to it. But the Gila monster kind of flattens itself and can get itself in really small places, so that wasn't an option. So they actually had to surgically implant, which means they had to cut it and put this inside of it. And that's where I'm going to stop for this part, and then we'll start with our next video on paragraph 9.